Hello everyone, SunSunDuck2, welcome to another mod overview, this time on Semi-Flat. A mod that simply adds the ability for the world to be somewhat changed when it comes to, obviously, world generation. So, for example, you could have it where there's typically mountains, normally, but afterwards, when it's being flattened, it'll obviously look like so. Now, trees and otherwise are not going to, but everything else of the land will be. And obviously you'll have more flatter sort of oceans. I don't know if this, or larger lake areas, I guess technically. I don't know if this changes rivers much either, but yeah, it's pretty much trying to make things more super flat or plains-like in terms of flatness. Yeah, so just create a new world. I don't think you have to change things to super flat or anything else and still have like an overworld sort of change. But either way, we'll just go with what we got on default and see what happens with the mod just installed. And see what biomes it actually happens to affect as well immediately after generating a world with it. Because I have absolutely no idea what to expect, so we've got our plains here. Now forest can obviously be quite similar, so we'll try and look elsewhere. So our roofed forest as well, which I think is probably pretty standard maybe. I guess? Possibly. We've got our swamp, which I guess we may or may not. Looks kind of similar. Yes, we've got this area, which either would be mountain or it would just, yeah, I guess it was a mountain biome. Now you'd sometimes get these to be flat, but for the most part it seems to just be like that. We'll try a different one. For example, let's see, we'll go like a Tiger Mountain or something, or whatever other options. Snowy Tiger Mountains, we'll try that. See what happens. Now, deserts and otherwise I think are going to be pretty much the same. So deserts, we kind of interesting. Yeah, so I guess it's deserts as well as tundras and certain others would be pretty much similar enough. But we've got this area here, which again I'm never sure with these because technically it can be mountains, but when you look at it, it's not actually that large. But they do actually. Okay, it actually is a proper mountains biome, so it is completely flattened. Yeah. That makes sense, it's just need to be large enough where I'm like, hang on, is it actually? It's like, yeah, it actually is converted to being more flat, rather than what you typically get. So, yeah. Yeah, not a reasonable distance for the other apparently, so that's unfortunate. The water, there's no sort of like dips or anything at all. You can see here. There is the occasional stuff for cave systems, of course, but yeah, it seems like even the ravine. No, the ravine shouldn't be affected, I don't think. No, that shouldn't matter. But yeah, certain water areas or just certain other things like mountains would definitely be flattened a lot more. And I assume when it comes to, yeah, even the witch hut pretty much is affected, where it's just like there's no water surrounding it where you typically would, I guess, or there's not much water deep areas in the swamp. It is very much a swamp plains like biome in a way compared to what you typically get. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You just want to flatten the world a bit more, which will obviously make it easier so you don't have to completely level out an entire mountain when you want to build, and you just want areas to be leveled out completely. Then you've got that. I guess making things just easier to travel as well, instead of just going, oh great, I have to go over this mountain just to get elsewhere. It's like, oh great, I've got access to these ores, as well as running straight through a biome, and there's not as much else to worry about with climbing up however you need to. You just jump up the blocks, or you just mine straight through it because you just not interested. We'll find other ways around it, like a Elytra or something else. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.